me ask about testing, about accountability systems. They are often really focused on the socioeconomics as opposed to what's really happening in schools.
Hmm.
How would you weight? How would you use accountability systems in schools?
So there's no question that we have to measure to see what's working and what's not working. I mean, this is not just an experiment. This is about setting our kids up for a lifetime of health and wealth and opportunity, or failing them and setting them up for, the other trajectory. And it's unconscionable, but we have to know what is happening and to be able to measure it. The standardized tests that our kids are taking and taking and taking aren't being used to really make tweaks in the curriculum or in the teaching or in the investment in our schools. It's being used as a tool of punishment. We're over testing. And so there, I believe, are better ways to analyze whether or not we have success. And less testing is a part of that, but testing the right things, measuring the right things, measuring growth as opposed to proficiency. And I've recognized that there's a difference, even though I think on the national level there's been some debate what they mean. But what we really know is that where a child comes into school versus the end of the school year, how much they've grown is really what tells you if what we're doing in our schools is successful. And I think that's got to be where we focus.
Gretchen, are you suggesting that we should be changing the standardized testing? We've already gone from the MEP to the M step. Are you suggesting another change?
No, I think that we've got to have a stable test. We've got to have the same test so that we can have longitudinal ability to look at whether or not what we're doing is working. This change in the test every year is making everyone crazy, and it's giving us no data from which to really analyze what's happening. It's making it harder on our children, it's making it harder on our educators, and it's not helping parents assess what's happening either. And so I think we have to have a commitment to one test and keep it for a longer time than a legislature that comes in and out. But we also need to do less testing. I think that you can do less testing and get more data with a stable test that'll help us make sure we're getting the results that we need.
Sasha talked a little bit about accountability. Let me ask you this. Should the state be making school closure decisions, the Michigan Department of Education? Should we be at that level where they're making the decisions of what schools should be closed down or not based on the achievement?
Well, when the governor went forward and started the process of trying to close schools, you have to ask yourself, what is the remedy here? The first and only question I think that we should be asking around education is, how are the children doing? And I don't know that question gets asked enough when it comes to decisions that are made around education. The thought that you punish families by closing down the option that they have, that's going to somehow produce a better result, is completely backward thinking. When you look at states that are turning around districts, they put more resources in. They don't abandon families. They don't make it harder for them to find education for their children. They improve the education system. They double down on it. It's not just a matter of putting more dollars into it. It's also doing things differently, assessing what works and what doesn't, and getting to work, rolling up your sleeves and making the changes that we need to. But this thought that you just close districts that aren't meeting our expectations is completely backwards, and it leaves people without options, and that's the worst case scenario.